Something was wrong, terribly wrong, and I was about to find out why. The Midnight Files, horror stories that haunt. I should have listened to the whispers. I should have turned back the moment I felt that icy dread crawl up my spine. But I didn't. Curiosity, or perhaps a morbid fascination, dragged me deeper into the nightmare. What I found in that condemned apartment building, it changed me. And I'm not sure I'll ever be the same. What I'm about to tell you isn't a ghost story. It's a story about a wound, a tear in reality that festers and bleeds into our world. A wound anchored by something seemingly innocent, a porcelain doll. Have you ever seen something so innocuous that just felt wrong? It started with the reports. The local authorities dismissed them at first. The ramblings of sleep-deprived residents claiming to hear voices, to see shadows flitting in the corners of their eyes. Mass hysteria, they called it. But then came the doll. Discovered in the rubble of the condemned apartment building after a particularly violent thunderstorm. It was unremarkable at first glance. Just a doll. Pale face, painted smile, vacant eyes. But anyone who touched it, anyone who even got close, felt it. A paralyzing wave of fear, a primal scream echoing in their soul. I volunteered to take a look, thinking it was all nonsense, a trick of the light, an overactive imagination. I was wrong. So terribly, terribly wrong. The moment I stepped inside that condemned apartment building, the air grew heavy, thick with a cloying scent I couldn't quite place. Something like dust and decay, mixed with the faint, sweet aroma of lilies. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic thumping of my own heart. I found the doll lying on a crumbling windowsill, bathed in the weak light filtering through the boarded-up windows. It looked expectant, almost as if it was waiting for me. I reached out, hesitantly, and as my fingers brushed against the cold porcelain, a jolt of pure terror shot through me. It wasn't just fear. It was a sense of profound wrongness, a feeling that I was violating something ancient and powerful. I recoiled, stumbling backward, my breath catching in my throat. What was that? I felt sick, disoriented, and a voice whispered in my ear, so faint I almost thought I imagined it. Leave. But the investigator in me wouldn't let me turn away. I had to understand. I started digging, pulling old case files, scouring historical archives. That's when the pattern emerged. Similar objects, always a porcelain doll or a similar unsettling toy, found in similar circumstances, always after a period of intense paranormal activity centered around the condemned apartment building. What were the odds? It couldn't be a coincidence. Historical records revealed tales of whispering shadows, glowing eyes, and the pervasive sense of dread that had plagued the area for decades, even centuries. Witnesses described seeing the same figure, always near the condemned apartment building, always behaving in the same unsettling manner. One elderly woman recounted stories her grandmother told her, stories of identical experiences from 70 years prior. The same location, the same phenomenon, the same mysterious figure. Time seemed to be repeating itself, caught in some horrific loop. Has anyone ever experienced something that defied all logical explanation? We expanded the team, bringing in historians, archaeologists, paranormal researchers, and even a psychologist. What we discovered was far more complex than a simple haunting. Writing began appearing on the walls of the condemned apartment building investigation site. Cryptic symbols and unsettling phrases scrawled in what looked like dried blood. Equipment malfunctioned. Recordings captured strange, distorted voices, and team members reported nightmares, sleep paralysis, and waking visions. You won't believe what happened next. Our archival research revealed a dark chapter in the history of the condemned apartment building. Generations ago, a horrific tragedy had occurred within those walls. The details were fragmented, deliberately obscured, but the outline was clear enough. A ritual gone wrong, a pact with something evil, a sacrifice made in vain. The doll, we discovered, was a key component of that event. It wasn't just a relic, it was a conduit, a physical anchor for something that existed outside of our reality. Little did we know, this was just the beginning. The turning point came when one of our team members, Sarah, experienced something that shattered our skepticism. Working late one night at the investigation site, she saw them, the glowing eyes. Not a fleeting glimpse, but a sustained, intense encounter. She described a presence, a malevolent intelligence that seemed to peer into her very soul. According to Sarah, the entity communicated with her, not through words, but through a direct transfer of knowledge. What it revealed was terrifying. The condemned apartment building was a scar on the fabric of reality, a place where the veil between worlds was thin. The doll, a grotesque monument to an unspeakable act, was both the symptom and the cause of this phenomenon. Can you imagine the terror? But the worst was yet to come. As we pieced together the truth, we faced an impossible choice. The knowledge we had gained was dangerous, potentially harmful to anyone who learned it. Some mysteries, we realized, remain unsolved for a reason. The solution was too dangerous to know. Several team members suffered severe psychological effects from their exposure to the condemned apartment building and its secrets. Nightmares, paranoia, debilitating anxiety. The mystery had marked them, just as it had marked countless others throughout history. What would you do in this situation? The official report was carefully crafted, revealing just enough to close the case while obscuring the truly disturbing details. The condemned apartment building was declared off-limits. The doll was sealed away in a secure facility, and the investigation was officially concluded. But we knew the truth. The mystery wasn't solved. It was contained, for now. The cycle would continue, as it had for generations. Eventually, someone else would discover the doll, or one of its counterparts. The phenomena would return, and a new generation of investigators would face the same impossible questions. Years have passed since the official conclusion of the case, but the questions linger, haunting my waking hours. Was the entity trying to warn us or lure us deeper into the abyss? What truly happened in that condemned apartment building all those years ago? And most disturbingly of all, is the cycle inevitable or can it be broken? Many people have experienced this sort of thing, but the truth remains shrouded in mystery. Some of the original investigators, myself included, still meet occasionally, comparing notes and experiences. We formed a quiet network, watching for signs that the cycle is beginning again, because we know it's not a question of if, but when. This case file, this account of what happened, serves as a warning, a desperate plea. If you encounter similar phenomena, if you find objects that radiate that same sense of wrongness, if you hear reports of mysterious whispers emanating from places with dark histories, please proceed with extreme caution. Listen carefully to this warning. Some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved. Some truths are too dangerous to uncover. And some places, like that condemned apartment building, should be left undisturbed. The price of knowledge is sometimes too high to pay. Don't make the mistake I did. Remember this investigation. Remember what happened to those who delve too deep. And if you ever find yourself investigating a case that feels wrong in ways you can't articulate, trust that instinct. Walk away. Run. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed again. I should have run when I had the chance. The mystery remains, waiting for the next investigator brave or foolish enough to seek the truth. It's still out there, And as long as we keep uncovering it, the cycle continues. Has this ever happened to you? Have you ever felt that something was just wrong? Share your experiences in the comments below. Your story could help someone else avoid the nightmare I lived through. Skeptics can't explain what happened to me, and they can't explain what might be happening to you. This isn't the only story I have about the dark corners of our world. Subscribe for more tales of the unexplained, the unsettling, and the downright terrifying. Maybe, just maybe, by sharing these stories, we can learn to recognize the signs before it's too late. Because out there, in the shadows, the mystery waits, and it's always watching.